Alright guys, some more tournament gameplay. If you are new to the channel, my name is Justin, also known as Shit Just Works, and today we have some top 32 gameplay from Duels of Runeterra number 9. This particular match is actually PiuiGaming. We think that's how his name is pronounced. Versus Rattling Bones. And again, this is from the top 32. Some pretty good gameplay here. If you guys want, I'm just going to get right into it. But if you guys want, gameplay starts at like 17 or 18 minutes, something like that. I'm going to put the timestamp in the description below. The pregame, so to speak, is myself and Sarah going over a lot of different deck types, stuff like that, and what we've seen throughout the tournament on Swiss Day 1. But also some sweet cheesehead wearing action. One of the viewers in the chat actually was a Green Bay Packers fan, and I myself have been to Lambeau Field, so I was pretty excited to be able to pull out my cheesehead for this particular instance. Awesome, fun time, as always. So, again, I'll just get right into it. Without further ado, this is Duels of Runeterra 9, Top 32. What is up, everybody? We are about to get started with the first round of the top 32, and we're looking at Piui. I think that's how you pronounce his name, is Piui. I don't know. Versus Sudrakon here, and we have been following them throughout this tournament, and they have looked pretty on point.
Yeah, Piui being actually completely undefeated today. He's currently sitting at 8-0, right?
Oh, yeah, yep. And Sudrakon, honestly, is playing some pretty cool decks, too. I'm trying to... do you have his deck list up already?
Yeah, so I'm looking at their lists right now. So one of the decks that Sudrakon has is he's playing Mono Demacia. He's playing Lucian instead of the normal Garen Fiora that we see.
That was what I was thinking
Lucian
of.
And 3 copies of a Zed being the only splash. So he's playing Bannerman with some Zed shenanigans going on.
Oh, yeah.
He's got, okay, so this is a cool deck that we were seeing yesterday. Do you remember this one? The Ursine Spirit Walker deck? The Misfortune Twisted Fate Ursine Spirit Walker?
The deck that we were trying to figure out what the heck Ursine Spirit Walker was in there for? Yeah, yep.
It's in there, I think, for Fury of the North is what we came to the conclusion for. And his final deck is good old Corona Control, playing some Rekindlers as a pretty expensive top end for that deck.
Yeah, and I will say, so to go back on the Ursine Spirit Walker, it was very interesting to see how much pressure that card actually put on the opponent. And not to spoil it for anybody, but the reason why we questioned it initially was like there was no 5 attack or more followers really in there, but the Riptide, I think, right?
Yeah, there's 3 copies of Ursine Spirit Walker, 3 copies of Riptide Rex, and then nothing else can actually break over that power threshold without the help of a Fury of the North.
Yeah, and that's, you know, the Fury of the North obviously will get you there, and it's funny because obviously you can see each other's deck lists. So when you're the opponent, you're constantly having to worry about some swing turn doing like 10 damage, and that definitely puts a kink in your plan.
Yeah, you have to really prepare for that the entire time. And now I don't remember if we got confirmation with this interaction on Ursine Spirit Walker. We are pretty sure that if Ursine Spirit Walker gets the Plunder Trigger and flips, and then gets Will of Ionian back to the hand, he stays as the 6/6 in hand, right?
Yes, that is correct. We figured out. Sorry, I'm laughing because of the chat. We figured out that if it does get recalled, it does stay as the like evolution form, so to speak. Era Sentinel. First off, congrats for making top 32, but. I saw that when I was looking at all the standings, Arrow, and I was like, wait, what? How did this guy, why did he get DQ'd? What the hell happened? Stop sleeping on the job, Arrow. All right, come on.
Was that able to get fixed, or did you just take the L because of that? I hope you don't have to take the L because of that, dude.
I hope not to. Wait, listen, you made top 32. As long as you don't DC anymore, you're fine. You can win it. That's what really matters. Don't worry about it. We're rooting for you, man. You got this. So, all right. I think so. Piui looks like he's on a bathroom break, so it's gonna be a couple minutes till we get started here. So, let's talk real quick, and I want to see if we can get the chat involved too. See what their thoughts are. But number 1 deck today. I think I already know your answer, but we gotta say it. We gotta go over it. What is it? What do you think?
Number 1 deck today.
Yeah, number like most common, I should say. Most common, not necessarily the strongest.
we've seen deep a good amount.
Yeah, I agree, 100%. At least it's not Mono Demacia, right?
We've seen a lot of Lux decks today as well. We've seen a lot of Lux. You know who's we're seeing a lot more today than we saw yesterday, which makes me very happy, is we're seeing a lot more Sejuani today. I'm hoping that we see Sejuani make it more and more into the top cut today.
Yes, I would actually love to see, because in looking at the top 32, there are definitely a few people that we have not like casted yet, and I'm praying that we finally saw some Sejuani, and it looked like it performed well. But will there be a Sejuani and Leviathan deck? That is the question. I want to see it. I want to see it work. And if there's a Swain in there too, more power to him. Would love to see that.
Pretty hard to play the Leviathan without at least 1 or 2 Swains, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But hey, listen, the Leviathan, honestly, just Leviathan triggering the Sejuani is enough. Right now, really all we've seen is Warning Shot paired with it, right? The last deck we saw was 6 Warning Shots.
I wish. Could you imagine if Tusk Raider had like a way to deal damage to face so that it was able to proc Sejuani?
Yeah, it would be broken if that was the case. Which, you know, you got to wonder why thematically it's not like that. It goes towards, like, doubling everything doesn't seem to really go with Sejuani's theme.
I don't think so. I feel like Freljord being just big, beefy stuff, that's like a pretty Freljord thing to be doing.
Well, okay, yes. As far as the Freljord strategy, I agree. Like Omen Hawk, you know, then you got Tryndamere, stuff like that. But I think as far as, like, because it draws Sejuani, right? So you got to think, okay, they're meaning to pair this card with Sejuani. Sejuani's a big unit, sure, but I just don't think inherently she's meant to be like a ramp card. She's meant to be a control card, as we've seen.
A 10-12 Overwhelm is going to be ending the game pretty quickly.
Dude, it never feels bad to draw a 10-12 Sejuani. I have done that a few times myself, and boy, does it feel good. Oh my god!
It's actually it's 12-14, right? Once she's flipped. 12-14.
Yeah,
that's a win condition if I've ever seen.
Yeah, just give me some of that 12-14 Overwhelm unit. We'll be good to go. So now, all right. So with that said, we think deep is the best. I think we both collectively, or not the best, the most common. I think we both collectively have agreed that we're not crazy about deep. We're not incredibly impressed with it, even though it has been popular. So what would you say the best deck is so far?
Lux Karma seemed pretty strong today.
Okay.
I think we've seen the Sejuani decks only win today, right? Have we seen them drop any games today?
That's a good point. I want to say we didn't see them drop anything. I don't think we saw a Sejuani deck lose today. That doesn't mean no Sejuani decks lost, but the ones that we casted anyways, which theoretically are the people that are doing better in the tournament, because we usually do undefeated people and stuff like that, they did not lose, no. So that's an interesting point. So that's good. That's very good. Me and Sarah, if you can't tell, are both very pro Sejuani.
Yeah, so I was I'm gonna hit you with some numbers. All right. So I had to do a lot of I was just doing a lot of reading on Twitch Rivals. I was doing a lot of just looking at the statistics and stuff. So Twitch Rivals Shadow Isles was played by 16 out of 16 players. So the only other color to have done that was Piltover and Zon. Piltover and Zon held a 59% win rate, being in first place with the highest win rate, above and beyond. Second place was like a 55% win rate. But okay. Shadow Isles being the only other one to have every player playing it, had a 49% win rate. So it was actually sub 50. So I actually think people playing these Shadow Isles decks, at least these Shadow Isle deep decks, I don't think they're getting players where they want them to be.
Yeah, that's actually I was gonna say it's surprising. It's probably not surprising so me and you are still thinking, okay, these deep decks don't really seem to fully be impressing us, and I think that statistic shows it right there. I think people want it to work because it's a big strategy where you ramp up, you have big units late game, but it just doesn't really seem to be taking it home for anybody in this tournament.
I think its game plan is just so loose. Like the Maokai, my win condition is I'm gonna mill you with Maokai. Well, that loses to me shuffling champions back into my deck. I can just play the same champion spell over and over again.
Karma, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's like, and then yes, your end game, my big stuff, I'm going to beat you down. Yes, that works. That will beat the mid-range Demacia decks. That will beat things. But sometimes you don't get deep fast enough.
Yeah, and that's what we've also touched on a lot today is that the whole idea of how quickly are you getting deep, right? I mean, if you're not getting deep quick enough by like turn 6 or 7, the deck almost, I don't want to say insta loses, but it definitely has a much lower win rate. Not hitting that
for sure.
Yeah, it just kind of freaks out. Like, oh my god, what do we do? Like, we're not at the point we want to be at yet. Now, with that said, if it does hit deep on turn, I think 5 is the earliest it can hit deep, but if it can hit it on at least turn 6, it pretty much auto wins.
I think 7 is like the benchmark. That's like
Yeah.
the turn you want to be getting it, because that's when you have Nautilus coming down.
Yep. Yeah. Anything past 7, you're not looking too hot. And we were talking about what's the one, the 3-cost burst spell that draws a sea monster, reduces the cost. Treasure, Lure of the Depths. I mean, we saw Prismat playing a 3 of that, if I'm not mistaken, and
yeah, he drew all 3, and at first I was pretty excited for that hand, but then he just died to an army, or the scrum of Badger Bears. his opponent had 4 Badger Bears, just hit him with them all on curve, and that's backbreaking, man. It's a lot of bears.
The now official name for a pack of Badger Bears is Scrum. Just if you guys haven't been informed, it is now Scrum. So now I'm curious too if the chat, if anybody in chat wants to go ahead and post something up about this. But we were talking about Badger Bear yesterday. If anybody wants to answer whether or not you think it should be nerfed to a 4-3 or a 3-4, or if you think it doesn't need to get nerfed, said nobody ever.
If you think the real change is, we need to buff Reckless Trifarian by removing his text and giving him more stats.
All right, listen. All right. If you guys weren't here yesterday, Cero made a pretty good comparison, which is if Reckless Trifarian is a 5-4, 5 cost that can't block, why the hell is... 3 cost that can't block. Why the hell is Badger Bear 3 cost 4-4 that can block? Which I think that's a pretty solid, like, sound argument as to why that card needs to get changed. I don't really know how that one slipped past right there, but you know.
Likely needs a nerf, dude. That card is an egregious design.
Dude, that's the second time you've used that word. That is now fully worked into our vocabulary. Egregious. Oh man, hey, we also learned the different parts of a ship today thanks to Keelbreaker.
Yeah, the keel is the underbelly of the ship.
Yes, for those who did not know, because Keelbreaker is a thing now. The that part, that like seam underneath the ship that like connects the 2 hulls. Are they both hulls, right? Together. I don't know. Now we're like ship experts because of Keelbreaker. That's the part of the keel. So you break the keel, you're pretty much sinking the ship is the idea. So Green Bay Packers fan. Oh, you're a Green Bay Packers fan? Oh, I got something I want to show you in a second. He says, likely needs a nerf. 4-3 seems okay. So yeah, that's actually what we agreed on, right? The 1 health being less would be more impactful than the attack.
All right, so I think 4-3 is probably the better nerf, but what I don't like about 4-3 is that it still invalidates Reckless Trifarian.
All right, well, yeah, that is a good point.
I just want to see Reckless Trifarian be like a top tier component of the metagame, and I think the world I want to live in is probably just unlikely to happen.
So how do we actually nerf Badger Bear while still keeping Reckless Trifarian not completely useless? That's going to be tough.
I think making him a 3-4, I think making him a Spider Tank is fine.
For those of you who don't know, Spider Tank was a 3 cost 3-4 in Hearthstone. It's been a while, man. All right, so I'm actually Green Bay. 1 second. I have something that I'm hopefully having somebody grab for me in a second that I want to show you. But so to update everybody on what's going on, Pewee, it looks like he's bringing up the ban list right now, so it should be any minute that we're going to get into Pewee and Sudrakon he's playing, right? Yeah, Pewee and Sudrakon, which I think is going to be an awesome matchup, by the way, because we have casted both of them, and they both have been spectacular to cast thus far.
So one thing I really like about Sudrakon's deck list is he's playing Lucian Senna. He's playing only 2 Kaiju Senna. He's not going for the full 3. But that's just a combo that I love. I think Lucian Senna, like it makes for a very powerful curve. And with like Badger Bears in the format, Senna can actually attack into a Badger Bear, which is pretty legit.
Yes, actually, that is a very good point. Yeah, Badger Bear, man.
We live in a Badger Bear world. People want to say like burn is the word, like burn is the best deck. Burn is very fast, burn is very powerful, but Badger Bear is warping the format around it so much. So to take a look at some of the other deck lists, I'm looking at PiuiGaming's decks. He's playing a Lux Vi deck. So just to take a look, some of the interesting things that it may be doing.
Yeah, so he's got Lux Vi. What are his two other decks? Sorry to interrupt you.
He's got Lux Vi, some Sea Monsters, playing 1 Thresh, 2 Maokai, 3 Nautilus. And then he's playing the Swain Sejuani Vlad deck that we saw yesterday with the Scar Mother Vrinas, the Scarthane Stephens, the Ember Maidens. So I must be missing something. I don't follow sports like that, so I don't understand what the cheese represents. Hopefully SJW will shed some light on the situation. How do we feel about Lee Sin Twisted Fate decks? Was that the one? There was a Lee Sin Spells deck that did pretty well in Twitch Rivals. I believe we got second place. Let me take a look. I think that was Lee Sin Twisted Fate. I think it played like three Twisted Fate, 2 Lee Sin, and 1 Fizz. Yeah. This is the one. I wonder if he's trying to talk to us and he doesn't realize he's muted. I'm not sure what's going on here.
Oh, okay. Yep. Okay, here we go. I was muted. Sorry, guys. All right. God, this thing won't stay on. He goes, I don't think we've seen, what I said was, I don't think we've seen any Lee Sin Twisted Fate today, right?
Yeah, no, we haven't seen that. So I find that very interesting, is that over Twitch Rivals, we actually saw Lee Sin Twisted Fate get 2nd and 3rd, I believe. It either got 2nd and 3rd or 2nd and 4th. And this Lee Sin Spells deck is like brand new. So I find it very interesting that we're not seeing it see any play today.
Yeah, I do agree, because I did see it on ladder a little bit too while I was laddering. All right, real quick. It looks like he's about to challenge him. I just wanted... Okay, Green Bay, he said that is the most beautiful thing in America right now. I still don't have a cheesehead. All right, so for those of you who do not know,
I'm so lost right
this, my friends, is a cheesehead, okay? A cheesehead is like the global sign of a Green Bay Packers fan. If you have gone to a Green Bay Packers game, you have probably gotten this if you went to Lambeau Field. Lambeau Field is also I think it's the oldest football stadium in America right now. That's still like standing. And I went to a business trip back when I was helping run a trucking company, of all things. I have a weird background. And I got one of these, and I was pretty excited because this is an actual cheesehead from Lambeau Field. So it's like one of those things, like if you're at all involved in sports or even like a bucket list for life, one of those things should be like go to Lambeau Field, just because it's like a monument of America, you know. So it's
So what's up with the cheesehead? So why is it cheese that they use to represent? Do Green Bay Packers fans just have a tendency to eat a lot of cheese or something?
So Green Bay Packers fan in the chat might know a little bit more about this, but for what I know is that basically Wisconsin is a large producer of cheese. So they're like the cheese state. So that's pretty much why. And it looks like, with that said, it looks like Pewie's getting into the game. So I'm gonna
on to bigger and better things.
Yeah, on to better things. Let's go.
I was really hoping you were just gonna like throw it and kind of like frisbee it to the back of the room.
Hold on, I actually have Sue Dracon up too, so we can get both.
Get the double hand treatment.
Oh yeah, we do. Oh no, he's not even playing. He's not playing Sue Dracon. Did he? Did they change it?
Did they?
Yeah, it looks like he is now playing Rattling Bones, so they must have switched up the. Okay. Yeah, that's unfortunate. So we only get one hand.
Right. Well, let me take a look at Rattling Bones' deck list then. Rattling Bones is a pretty solid player. He's one that I've seen high ladder on multiple times.
Yeah, and it looks like the... Alright, so we got Lux Karma versus the Bilgewater Noxus aggro deck that we've been seeing a lot of today.
Alright, so TF Swain. We have Viheimer. And Callista Thresh Tryndamere. This is They Who Endure.
Now we've done a lot of Pewee today. We've done a lot of Pewee today, and I don't think we've seen this this Vi deck yet, right?
I don't believe so. I believe it's been banned every time. So I really like this. This deck is playing 2 Bark Beasts. I really like Bark Beast as a card. I'm a big fan of like these 1-cost cards that can grow big. I remember Undertaker. So I think I want to see what happens with this Bark Beast deck. I think there could like one day be like a Shadow Isles U style deck that's built around Bark Beast.
I'm actually seeing if Rattling Bones is also streaming. That would be nice.
I'm a little quiet compared to SJW. I can move my mic a little closer to me. Does that help me?
I got you. I'm gonna turn it up a little bit. Muchas
So
gracias, guys. Yeah, big. He said big businesses in Wisconsin.
Now you all can hear my beautiful, smooth, silky smooth voice just a little bit louder.
Oh boy! All right, so I do have Rattling Bones up as well, so we're gonna go ahead and get the his hand up.
Ooh, awesome.
Bam! Let's go.
So Rattling Bones is on a Swain TF right now. This deck, man, this deck has really been picking up in popularity, winning Twitch Rivals the other day.
Yeah, to see it win Twitch Rivals, I'm pretty excited about too, because I do like Twisted Fate in general as a card. I do think he's the best champion in the game right now by far, but he's also balanced because he's incredibly hard to level up. So I do like that about him.
I really love Twisted Fate. He's just genuinely awesome. I love what he does for the game. Like, he reminds me of like that staple card that makes it into just so many decks because it's like really good because it's versatile, but not because he's oppressive.
Yes, no, exactly. And that's the thing too. I think that he can essentially be splashed in anything at this point, which is pretty cool. It's kind of like Ezreal having his own archetype for almost every region at this point. Even though now the Karma one is pretty much the most prevalent, but I do like that about Twisted Fate as well.
Yeah, Ezreal really taken a back seat recently.
So it looks like Piui is in a very commanding position right now with this Vi. That tough is so tough.
He's got a very tough board here.
Yeah, it's a very tough board to challenge. It's just very man, having a Vi on field is literally just such a hard body to get rid of, especially as a Noxus Bilgewater deck. I'm hard pressed to see what good options he's gonna have. Does he play? He does play.
He's got
Guillotine?
double Guillotine for this turn, so he's gonna be clearing up this board.
Guillotine is, and we were talking about that earlier, I think Guillotine is going to increase in popularity and is such a strong card, especially in this meta right now.
I love that Guillotine refunds itself for that turn. Oh, that's the hand bug you were talking about, right?
Oh, see, that's exactly what I was talking about earlier. That is so annoying. Every single time she gains attack, that just chills there until she gets played.
Is that really a thing?
Yeah, that continues to stay like that, and hopefully it doesn't. I don't think it would be even worse if your opponent could actually see the bug too, but I don't think that's the case.
No, I doubt it. I think it's only for the player who has it in their hand.
Yeah, and
you can't tell when your opponent's buffing a Vi in their hand. You don't see that animation.
Yeah, and you can see Rattling Bones. He doesn't see it on screen. So, but that is a current bug with Vi for those of you who are not aware.
So he's blocking like this. I would think to do the block on the spider and then have Lux jump in front of it.
I agree with that. I do think that's the right play here. And now you got to wonder with this bug, is he playing the Vi simply to remove the animation from his screen, or is this the right play?
Get this animation out of here, please.
He just wants it to go bye-bye. Yeah, I think he's going. Oh, wait, that's not even, there's two. All right, no, never mind. I was going to say, if there was a second Vi in there. Oh, yeah, okay, wait. So, all right, if you play another Vi that makes it turn into the champion spell, it also removes the animation, we now know.
Now, did Vi ever get that hotfix that a leveled up Vi will still continue to keep getting buffed?
Yes, yeah, because one of the previous tournaments, they actually banned her from being more than a one of in the deck, because it was while you had one on the field, one in your hand, the one in hand would continue to buff above 10.
That's an interesting one, man.
So we see the Badger Bear coming down. This keg is, it feels really bad having that Vi in the field, because even with the keg, there's nothing that's going to be able to damage the Vi that much. He just has to rely on a Noxian Guillotine to kill her. So that's pretty much, I imagine, what he's going to be saving this last Noxian Guillotine in his hand for.
So Piui can make something happen this turn, depending on how Rattling Bones handles this situation, this blocking situation. If he decides to cast any spells, we might see Piui go for a buff on his Vi here. He does have, what is the name of the card, Vi's champion spell? Vault Breaker?
Vault Breaker, yep.
Yeah, he does have the Vault Breaker. He's going to be able to buff up his Vi's pretty quick if that's what he wants to go for.
Yeah, I'd be
Oh,
interested to see if that actually does get used this game.
oh, that'll work. That'll do it.
Yep. That is huge. That's a lot of damage swinging too, not to mention the
And it's
Lux
gonna
level up.
evolve Lux too. This is
Wow.
insane.
And wait, does the Vise level up? Is it only when it strikes something, right? Not
It has to strike, so it's about to strike.
okay. I just wasn't sure if it was a unit or like you. I have not played a whole ton of Vi.
It all it has to do is strike. It doesn't care what it's striking.
Okay.
That said, now I think a single combat still triggers Vi. I'm fairly certain single combat triggers Vi, but I'm not positive about that one.
That's a good point. I do believe
So,
you're right. If it does trigger,
You know what's
on
really
any
weird?
strike-
You know what's really weird? All right, chat. I'm about to hit you with some knowledge. If you're playing against the Swain, this is relevant because this is actually a matchup where this could happen. So if you single combat against a Swain deck, the damage that the unit does, that single combating, counts as spell damage, even though it's a fight. And that'll start leveling up Swain.
Yeah, that's and that's one of the things that I can't stress enough with this game is just how awesome some of the interactions like that are in this game that makes it so much different from other card games.
This barrier is doing good work here to make this guillotine not as powerful as it once was going to be.
And that is a big 11 damage going off this turn, not to mention the level up. So now, you know, his focus, Rattling Bones, needs to be getting rid of this Vi like ASAP now.
That Vi is big. That Vi is real big.
He may have to... What's he on? 4 mana. So it doesn't look like he can kill it this turn. He may have to actually go ahead and use a guillotine. Or sorry, the fervor with the guillotine. No, the guillotine's going to be gone after this.
Yeah, guillotine's going away this turn.
So
he was really banking on Rattling Bones is really banking on that Lux taking damage and him being able to use that second guillotine this turn.
Yeah, wow, that is terrible for Rattling Bones. So it's gonna be rough for him to come back from this. And that 3 damage to the face is just more insult to injury there.
All right, final spark, getting that damage in.
So now
Attack token going back to Rattling Bones. So this is it. This is the turn that Rattling Bones is going to have to figure something out here. He's not able to. I think we're just going to see this game run away for Piu.
Yeah, and again, drawing the Riptide Rex is just like such a bad card right now. You have another tough unit on field, and every time we've seen a tough unit against Riptide Rex, it just feels like such a bad card.
Riptide Rex is high variance, right? Like on some boards, he's absolutely disgusting. Yep. And on other boards, there's a tough unit, and he's like, man, I don't do anything.
Yep, exactly. But I think right now, when we're in a meta of Unyielding Spirit and Radiant Guardian and things of that nature, I just feel like Riptide Rex is slowly going to come out of a lot of decks.
That is possible. Right. So does Vi only get the punch when she's attacking?
Yes. Yes. Yep. That I am sure of. And honestly, he might be able to just win off of Final Sparks here. Okay, he is going to go with the Riptide. Riptide or Leviathan, I'm thinking. Ooh,
oh, that's
okay.
so gross.
That's just yeah. That I think Pewie's got it. I think Pewee has it from here. Just going out on a limb.
He loses his Lux though. Can he save it? There's no way to save it here.
I don't think so. No. Yeah, Vaultbreaker doesn't add any health or anything like that. So yeah, he's just gonna lose the Lux and keep a very big Vi, which is really what matters here. And actually, I mean, honestly, even if something gets summoned, it doesn't matter. It's gonna do the 5 damage to the face, or he takes 13. So either way.
And now Rattling Bones has used 2 guillotines already this game, right? So I don't believe he has access to a third.
Nope. I think that's just game. Even the Ravenous Flock at the end there, just doing nothing for him. So, wow.
And there's the Shen emote.
Yeah, Pewee gave a nice fist right there too. He is excited to be winning. You know, Pewee has been very, very happy and just very awesome to watch on camera as he gets wins and stuff here throughout this tournament. He's just very happy that he is in the situation and the position that he's in right now.
What language is Pewee's client in? I don't think it's Spanish.
No, that's what I was asking earlier because I was trying to figure out what the word defeat was in Spanish. I don't think it's whatever it is in this client. If anybody knows, it would be great help to put it in the chat. Just let us know. So now we
My
have.
uneducated mind is thinking French, but I have no
Oh,
idea.
I do not. I'll tell you right now. I don't think it's French. Or watch
All right.
now it's probably gonna be French because I said that. So
Well, that's why I prefaced it with my uneducated
yeah,
mind.
knowing what I know about French, I don't think it's French, but don't quote me. So we have deep sea monsters versus the same deck. So let's see what we can do with deep. And again, always curious. Is it gonna be
Portuguese?
turn 5, 6, or 7?
Oh man, I was just about to say it could also be Portuguese. I was so close. All right.
Portuguese. You know, I'm Portuguese too. I feel like a bad human being now. I don't even know my own language. Jesus, what's wrong
Yeah,
with
because
me?
Portuguese and Spanish are very similar. That makes a lot of
Yes.
sense.
Yep, that does make sense. That's why we kept thinking it was Spanish. All right, so we have Jawl Hunters. We have early Nautilus, which I don't know. It kind of feels bad to draw Nautilus early. I feel like you almost always want to be drawing him late game. He just kind of gums up your hand for way too long.
You mean you don't want your 7-drop in your hand on turn 2?
Yeah, right. That's the dream, man. That's the dream. No
Yeah,
Dreg Dredgers either, which definitely sucks for Pewy right now.
I've definitely kept Ledros in hand against some decks, so I'm willing to have my 9-drops every now and then in some matchups.
So what is? I will say the one gripe I have is that his overlay covers most of his hand, which is kind of annoying.
Yeah, it does. There's
What's that too? That's Vile Feast.
Vile Feast.
Yeah. Okay. So the
There's
Vile
Vile Feast. There's the fish that eats a thing. There's 2 Jaw Hunters. The Thorny Toad.
the fish that eats a thing. Devourer of the depths. Vile Feast is very good against keg control stuff too, to ping those kegs. So he's feeling pretty safe as far as that's concerned. Ooh. Oh, he opted for the 1-drop. I feel like that's not often that you see that.
No, very often you see it going to something else. So he's going for the feast on the Poro.
Hey, listen, if we know anything about Poros during this tournament, the Poros are a threat, okay? All right, if anybody's seen Maverick play, you have to worry about the Poro Judgment. It's just the play to make.
Yeah, chat. For those of you who don't know, there was almost a game-winning Judgment on a Poro yesterday.
Number 1 best play of the day.
Play that didn't happen, unfortunately.
Yeah. So, all right. So it looks like, honestly, I mean, Rattling Bones isn't putting too much pressure on Pewee, which leads me to believe that Pewee is going to be able to slowly but surely, even though he'll hit deep rather late, he'll be able to stabilize because of the little aggression that Rattling Bones currently has.
Yeah, well, let's keep in mind that the deck that Rattling Bones is playing is at its core, it is a control deck, even though it doesn't always look that way. It is going to be able to assemble that late game win condition of having Swain on board with the with the Leviathan. Once you have those 2 in play, your opponent needs to have more than 3 big things in play to be able to stop that Swain from getting through.
Yeah, so it really is going to be if he can set up that combo right now.
Yeah, and there's also, remember, Rattling Bones does have 2 copies of Guillotine that can help stem the bleeding, like really keep the board under control once these big things hit the field for Pewee.
Now, I feel like we saw this matchup earlier with different people. I think, so is the Deep Sea Monster deck really looking for more of a Maokai victory here?
I think it depends on the deck it's playing against. And against this particular deck, I'm really not sure. I think it can definitely get its win through an overwhelming board advantage. I would imagine that that's the main way that this deck wants to play. I think Maokai is more of an alternate win condition against the control decks that go really long. Whereas this is a control deck that wants to end the game a little sooner than some other control decks do.
All right, so we'll see what win condition he opts to go with here, based on what Rattling Bones does for putting pressure on and stuff. And curious to see if this Twisted Fate actually levels up as well. Wow, that is
quadruple Devourer of the Depths.
Wow, that's a lot of fish that eat stuff. That is an interesting hand. I can't say I've seen that yet in this tournament or ever.
Yeah, I think that's a hand you're pretty happy to have. I think Devourer of the Depths is probably one of the strongest cards in this deck.
So I will say he's got 2 Death's Hand. Yeah, so he is going to go ahead and play the Death's Hand on the Jaw. Rattling Bones is actually, he's got another Death's Hand and 2 Noxian Fervors, so definitely an interesting hand on his part as well.
Yeah, and he's getting close. He's going to be able to start setting up something like this Riptide Rex in the not so distant future. And right now, Nautilus is not in play. He's not in play, and there is no deep setup either. So an early Riptide Rex can be pretty devastating at this stage of the game.
And he just drew into a Pilfered Goods, which is also very good for him to keep up here.
His hand is just has a glut of these Devour the Deaths right in the middle.
Well, at least he knows he can get rid of units if he really wants to. Whether or not he decides to actually play it is a whole other question. And I think so. All right, wow. So Twisted Fate actually gets the level up, and that's going to be real rough for Piui right here. Even getting 3 of these off in one turn is going to be incredible for Rattling Bones.
Now this game's heating up, says Twisted Fate.
Oh yeah, that is for sure. And I don't think he has a Vengeance, so he might be forced to play the Vengeance here on Twisted Fate, maybe.
That feels so bad.
It really does, but yeah, he's gonna have to go with the Vengeance to just force out anything. What feels bad is that Rattling Bones cannot currently play the Pilfered Goods yet, especially with it being a burst spell, which is so unfortunate, right? Like, he can't play the Make It Rain and then play the Pilfered Goods and still get Twisted Fate's effect, unfortunately.
No, he can't. He would have to figure out a different way to order it. He could end his turn with the Pilfered Goods after he gets a red card off.
Yeah, and there's no way for him to actually have the Twisted Fate live either. So he's at least getting a free mana and draw off of the blue card, which feels good, I guess, but definitely feels bad to only get one of those procs off on the leveled Twisted Fate, because you level up Twisted Fate and you feel like you did something so like amazing, and now to have it die so quickly.
Well, the thing is Twisted Fate is now leveled up for future Twisted Fates on top of it.
Yeah, 100%. So anything he starts drawing into for Twisted Fate is going to swing the game immensely in his favor.
Okay. He's going to go for the red card. So give him a clear.
Now, do you really think it was that important for him to clear right there? I feel like pushing that hard might not have been worth it.
Well, his hand is very full still, right? I think the idea is he just wants to be mana efficient here. He wants to get the most out of his Twisted Fate without actually having to use his real cards.
Well, the problem is
the unit's already dying. Parting with the Fervor isn't that big a deal when your opponent's at 16. You're not using it to race him at any time soon.
The only issue I have with that is that now he's basically surrendering the opportunity to be able to play a plundered Riptide next turn. So he must be wanting to play that on the next turn. Which honestly, a Swain into that the following turn does feel good.
Well, this Nautilus, I have to believe, is going to be coming down here. It depends. If Rattling Bones plays something, then we might see the Devourer come down.
Ooh, he goes with a Zap Spray Fin. Okay,
he's got 4, so I think it's time to Devour something here.
Yeah, you got to start using them at some point. It's going to feel really good when they are all deep, though. That is a lot of removal.
Yum, says Devour the Depths. Jaw Hunters is going to come down.
I'm not crazy about that because I think he has 10 cards in his hand now.
Yes, he does.
He's going to be burning a card, so I think that might have been a misplay. Granted, it was only salvage, I guess, with how many cards he has. That's not the worst burn, but that's not good.
Completely calculated. He didn't want that salvage.
Uh-oh. No. Reconnectando. We have a reconnectando, guys. Not cool. God, this makes me want to learn Portuguese now.
Oh, man. This is... I'm feeling the stress from this reconnection here.
Dude, and I don't know if it's maybe Piui, because it seems to only happen when we're casting Piui. So I don't know.
Yeah, he might not have the strongest internet connection.
Yeah. Oh god. He's stressed out. He's gonna. He's I
wanted to make sure I'm not the only one who saw that.
Dude, you gotta take a hit from the jewel when you're stressed, man.
I don't think that was a jewel, man.
Oh, oh, okay, good catch. All right, never mind.
It definitely started with a J, though. That's for sure.
Is this recorded? Oh god, that's great. So the leveled Swain plus this Riptide coming down is going to be pretty big for Rattling Bones.
Yeah, now Rattling Bones having the Swain He's gonna still need to be able to set up something along with it. Leviathan could have come down this turn, probably not in the hand, or just not feeling like it's time to play Leviathan quite yet.
Yep. Well, here's the other thing too. Vengeance was already forced out with that Twisted Fate, which is going to be a big deal now because now he only has to play around one other Vengeance. As far as like his Swain being threatened. Wow, that feels so good. Jesus.
Great Swain hit here.
It's not often you get a Swain Nexus Strike off, but when you do, it feels really good.
All right, Pee-wee 4 away from deep. He's gonna draw a card, so he's gonna be 3 away in a second. As soon as he plays Maokai, he's gonna toss 2 and summon, and so we'll be 1 away. And there it is, Devour the Depths number 5.
Because 3 isn't enough.
All right, it is Nautilus time. Nautilus comes down, and next turn, once we pass, it is going to be time to be deep for Pee-wee.
Yeah, and he definitely needs that right now. So those Devourers are going to be huge value, but they really are just clogging up his hand, and that's what he's saying right now too. Feels
this
bad.
hand is actually busted. I don't know what you're saying.
And all right, so Rattling Bones drew into the Twisted Fate. I think that's going to seal the deal for him. That is a ton of value right now. Getting a red card off is just going to wreck everything.
Is getting a red card really going to wreck everything here?
A red card and then the gold card on the Nautilus, like, oh my god.
So, I don't know, man. I have to feel like I'm a fan of Pee-wee's position at the moment.
It's getting because of the 4 Devourers? Yeah, that is a good point. And it's like
he's got so much inevitability. It really depends on what's in the hand of Rattling Bones. Now, we do see that he has 2 Noxian Fervors, which is really pretty dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
So actually,
He's triggering. So he's just saving. I think he's worried about like a potential Vile Feast or something killing the Twisted Fate, which is why he decided to do that.
I think he's afraid of a Jettison here.
Or a Jettison, yes. Well, I'm saying because he was challenged by the 2-attack Sapling. So he doesn't want to lose a Twisted Fate, maybe. Okay, Ravenous Flock. Okay, yeah. God, this is where Twisted Fate just starts getting a redonkulous amount of value, and it's super hard to come back from.
Yeah, no, every time Twisted Fate casts a red card, he is going to be stunning that Nautilus down. A gold card is going to be stunning something else down as well.
Yeah. All right, so the Nautilus is finally leveling up, but this might be a little too late. Is this actually turn 10 right now?
I believe we've just gotten to turn 10.
Okay, so I think confirmed turn 10 is far too late for deep to occur to still win the game.
Let's see what happens. This guillotine is looking pretty bad, I gotta say, but I still don't think this is completely over yet.
I mean, he does have 4 Devourers in hand. And he's going to get Death's Handed. This is going to get negated, and it's going to feel really bad. So
the thing is that there's still this one other Noxian Fervor, which makes things a little complicated.
Yeah. Yep.
That's really strong here.
Yep. I think that's game now.
I think Pee-wee's going to have to be accepting his defeat here. He's got nothing that really affects the board here. He can gain 3. But
wow. Yeah, I mean, a leveled Twisted Fate getting red cards off every turn with a leveled Swain is definitely a little strong. That's for sure.
Yeah, I really would not have thought the deep deck with 5 Devour the Depths would have lost that game.
Yeah, I guess there's a point where having the same card that many times is just it's just a little bad.
I need options.
Okay, is it me or is Pee-wee playing in a browser?
I don't. Oh,
it just looked like he was playing in a browser.
It looks like his Discord is like. It looks like he's playing windowed, and his Discord is like in the background.
Okay, maybe he's streaming in the Discord. That might be it too. So that might have something to do with the connectivity issues. So what do we got now from Rattling Bones here? Is this Endure?
Yeah, this looks like they who Endure. I believe he's playing 1 Thresh, 1 Thresh, 3 Callista.
Okay, so
2 Thresh, 3 Callista, 1 Tryndamere.
What are your thoughts on Bark Beast?
I really like this card. I want to see this card become a 3 of in Shadow Isles at some point.
Okay, so now, am I understanding this correctly that the +2/+2 only triggers one time?
Yes, this would be insane if it triggered it multiple times.
Okay, so yeah, I agree. So why is this card good when you have something like a 2/2 that gains +1/+1 with a plunder?
It's the same thing, right? It's a 1 mana 3/3.
Yeah, exactly. But why have the extra risk of playing a 1 mana 1/1 that can be killed much easier?
Because you're playing a completely different color.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess my whole point is I'm just not entirely sold on Bark Beast even being good, basically because it can be like he's got a Vile Feast. It can be killed so easily.
Yeah, it can be, but your opponent is spending 2 mana on your 1 drop, which is okay.
Yeah, that is the upside. That does feel like a very good trade for Rattling Bones here.
I think a 1 mana 3/3 has a lot of upside.
Yeah, 1 mana 3/3 in general is good. I just feel like there's a lot of other 1 mana drops that are similar to that basically do the same thing but just have less downside, being a 1/1 to start.
Yeah, I mean, you're comparing it to Cythria, right? Like tiny Cythria.
Yeah, or the new Bilgewater. What's the new Bilgewater guy?
The plunderers or something like that.
Yeah,
Something,
I don't know.
some
I don't know the name.
cutthroat something.
No, that's the Cutthroat is the elusive fearsome girl. I'm talking about the 1 mana 2/2 that if you plunder and
I
you
know
play
the
it,
card
it's
you're
3/3.
talking about. Jagged Butcher. Is the
There we
name of
go.
it.
We got it. We got it. So again, I'm going to be looking here to see if Pewee can get to deep pretty quick. And once again, he is stuck with 2 Nautilus and on top of that a Thresh. So that feels really bad.
This is scary because you're staring down an entire board of fearsome stuff.
Yep. Now, can he do anything about this Callista?
Callista has seen no deaths yet, so it won't be easy for him to do anything to save Callista.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. He did have the Blighted Caretaker too to level it pretty much in one turn. So he has another one, excuse me, in hand. That Black Spear, I believe, is a Callista. So he will probably be able to get a level Callista next turn using the Blighted Caretaker, and I think that's what he's going for here.
Yeah, and that's exactly what's happening here. And this is going to be a pretty powerful turn here.
That is, yeah, that's a lot of fearsome. Can we rip Wraithcaller being fearsome as well?
Oh man, that was
a little broken.
That card was a little scary like that.
Yeah, a little broken. Ooh. Is this greedy to do the Cursed Keeper first before the Blighted Caretaker?
Well, the thing is that's going to put up so many units on the board that you're actually not going to get all of the value.
Yeah. I will say I've built decks similar to this, and a lot of the problem with Cursed Keeper with the whole, like, you know, putting multiple of it on the field with, what's that 3/3 that resummons the unit? I always forget the name of.
3/3 that summons unit, Chronicler of Ruin.
Chronicler of Ruin. I feel that your field gets filled up so fast that half the time you can't even get the best value that you want out of cards like that. And this Blighted Caretaker is another great example because you're adding 2 units to the board. It becomes a little hard to really combo well with it.
Man, and not opting to play the Caretaker here. Pretty interesting. Just going for a completely wide attack. Now, this is going to be doing a lot of damage. But I have to feel like evolving Callista seemed pretty solid there.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Rattling Bones is like seeing blood in the water here and is thinking, okay, Pewee is probably looking like he has a pretty crap hand right now, so I'm just going to kind of try to push damage and get to a quick atrocity. Because
he is very close to this atrocity. He's already at the end of this turn. He's going to have 3 spell mana banked, and he's going to be able to just hard cast out one of these They Who Endures next turn.
Yeah, and Pewee has to block a little differently, otherwise this Callista's going to live. Oh, that feels so... Wait, does he lose... Does he always have to kill 2 units for this block, and the Callista always lives? Is that organized correctly?
I think like this is the best way for him. His Thresh will evolve like this as well. He takes a lot of damage, though. He's taking 9. He's going down to 6.
So he's taking less... He's taking more damage
he's going
to kill
9
the Callista.
because he also life steals for 3.
Yeah, okay. So that feels so bad that you have to make that decision, though, to take more damage just to kill this Callista. And I think that's what Rattling Bones is trying to do here, is to really make Pewee just take as much damage as possible.
I'm concerned about this play because I feel like if he went for the Caretaker... Now, actually, if he goes for the Caretaker there, he actually gets a little bopped by Withering Wail. But I feel like that Caretaker gives him the ability to try to interact with this Thresh, and now this Thresh is just going to be able to attack next turn.
Yeah, and does the Thresh level here totally? 1, 2, 3. Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
Thresh
Yeah.
is definitely leveling here.
Yep. Yeah, so that's definitely going to be a problem. But okay, so this is really going to depend on what Pewee plays next turn because he might be able to set up the They Who Endure and Atrocity in the next 2 turns.
Yeah, I think the pressure is still on Pewee here.
Yeah. Now, what feels very bad is that this Thresh is like way more likely to pull a Maokai right now, which feels bad.
It's 50-50 right now. There's one Maokai, one Thresh in the deck.
Oh, he has a Maokai in his hand too. Okay, so it actually is 50-50.
One Maokai, one Nautilus.
Okay. So I guess it's good that he actually drew the Maokai then. All right, here's to fingers crossed that it's a Nautilus.
Blood and salt.
Now, wait, does he really even want a Nautilus because of the fearsome and because he's not deep yet?
Well, does this pull him into being deep? No, it does not.
No.
He didn't get the one he wanted either. That's the big sad.
Yep. He does save it with the Wild Feast, which is good.
All right, so what do you think about Sap Magic? I think it's criminal that card doesn't heal face.
I agree 100% because when I first saw that card, I don't think I fully registered like reading it entirely and was just like, I'm going to play this because it heals Nexus. And then when I first played it, I realized it didn't, and then I stopped playing it.
I'm pretty sure that card says all allies. Why are you not considered an ally?
I agree 100%. I think that does need to change. We were talking about buffs and nerfs potentially coming. I would like to see that buff. I think that's a totally merited buff, and it does not break the card whatsoever.
Yeah, I really liked the idea of the deep deck, and then once I found out that card didn't heal face, I was very turned off to the deck.
Oh, so your idea was to actually pair Sap Magic with the deep strategy.
Yeah, I thought it was more of a control card, like wait, three mana gain, 3 HP. That's like a good card,
especially if you have a lot of big units that are more likely to get chunked down, and that gives you more value out of that card being able to heal them.
Yeah. But once I found out that Sap Magic just actually isn't the main deckable card, I really lost my interest in playing it.
Yeah, I feel you. All right, so now he's going for the Blighted, and I think, oh no, he's going for the Thresh. He's really like waiting to pull the trigger on that Blighted Caretaker.
Now he's got this one of Jettison in hand for Pewee. So could he actually get deep? Oh no, that's not Jettison. That's Salvage.
Yeah. So this I think puts him a little short still. Nope. Okay, he does have it. So this is turn 8. So let's just note that this is past the turn that we usually say is crucial for the deep deck to hit by, which is 7. So well, I'm actually very curious to see if this deep deck can now win going deep on turn 8.
It depends how big this the what's her name is going to be.
They Who Endure.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and well the Blighted will be able to instantly get 3 more on it. I think it's at 8/8 right now, so it is going to be stronger than the 10 at some point.
I actually think this one is locked up here for Pewee. I think Rattling Bones lost this one because with that Nautilus in play, there is a Riptide in hand. He's not going to be able to assemble combo.
Dude, and I can't stress enough how many times we've seen at the end of the game having the second Nautilus in hand giving you a Riptide just blows up the opponent's strategy. It's so ridiculous how often we've seen that happen this tournament.
Rattling Bones is gonna think a little bit, and he's sitting on combo in hand, man. Like
yeah.
if you're Rattling Bones, you have to feel like, all right, this can win the game, but I don't know if it's actually going to.
Yeah, he feels like he's in a good spot, but and here's the deal too. I feel like a lot of people going into this tournament weren't actively worrying about or preparing for a Riptide being in hand at the end of the game due to a second Nautilus. Like, I feel like that wasn't super prepared for. I'm sure some people thought of it, but it seems to be getting a lot of people by surprise at the end of the game.
Sapling just sending himself immediately to the void.
And there's the Chronicler of Ruin, but no real good targets right now, which is unfortunate. And he can't even really play it with They Who Endure, which I think is now at 11.
Well, yeah. you could play your They Who Endure Chronicler and make it a 1/1.
Yeah. I guess. All right, so that is the new mechanic you are seeing in action that they changed recently, which is that you can obliterate one of your 6 units on board if your field is full to replace it with one from your hand.
I love that change, by the way.
Yeah, me too. Big fan. Big fan. All right, so Jaw Hunter, yeah. Okay, well, he's taking 13. He can't block the elusives. I think that's game.
He's living this turn, but he's about to get
12, yeah. So he's literally just relying on the combo. He needs to hope that Atrocity and They Who Endure can win the game, but as long as Piui doesn't misplay here with that Riptide, I think he's fine.
Yeah, I think you're going to see him go for the combo here. Now your opponent's tapped out. They can't go for Vengeance. This is probably the best.
I'd be surprised if he doesn't do it with his opponent on 6 mana. Like, he doesn't... Really, if he passes, he's literally just relying on Piui possibly misplaying. That's it. And I'm very curious to see if Rattling Bones is even thinking about Riptide here. He's probably not. And yeah, you just got the fist again from Piui. He's like, got it. We good.
All right, and Piui, that's a 2-0 again here, right?
Yeah. That is, wow. Piui is just wrecking. Oh man, this guy. So good right now.
How does he do it? He draws his cards in such impeccable order.
Dude, he's like Yugi. He's got the heart of the cards, man. He's wrecking it today. So that is a quick 2-0. Give it some high fives to, I don't know if it's his family or friends in the background, but that is awesome. I am rooting for Piui right now because he has just had a smile on his face this entire freaking tournament. He's just so happy.
Big hype right now.
He really is. He really is right now. All right.
And so Rattling Bones just winning his game. He's going to be moving up to round 2. He's going to be making it to top 16. He's going to be playing against Midget Fajita, which actually sounds delicious.
Did you just hold on? Wait, I heard you right. You said Midget Fajita.
Yeah, I like Midget Fajita, man. I'm a big fan of fajitas.
Hey, that's a name that we can pronounce though. As crazy funny as a name that is, at least we can pronounce it correctly, and we know it's correct. I hope.
Yeah, that is true. Imagine maybe we're just incredibly wrong. He's just got some crazy way to pronounce this.
I don't know, man. The English language makes no sense, so one can only hope.
Oh man, I saw a sentence the other day that like threw me through 9.5 loops. It was like though, or something like that, and I was like, "What is happening?"
Seems legit. All right, so let's summarize real quick. We got Piui beating Rattling Bones 2-0. We got Midget Fajita beating Vintagwe. This is one of the names we don't know. Vintagwe, Vintage, I don't know. Vintage. A really special way of spelling vintage.
That's the most vintage way to spell vintage, dude.
All right, guys, that is it. As always, all the links to the good stuff are going to be in the description below. You get Cero's Twitter, Cero's Twitch. If you want to go check him out, definitely throw him a follow. My stuff's obviously all down there as well. And if you are looking to join the next Duels of Runeterra tournament, which is going to be number 10, probably about 2 weeks or so from now, the Discord server link is going to be in the description below. Definitely check it out. As always, everybody, stay healthy, stay positive. I hope shit just works for you, and peace out.